So we are going to move on to Windsor, heading south. We're going to be hearing next from Diane from Windsor, who just recently at her town meeting conducted a climate survey and has some really interesting lessons to share with us. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Diane's already queued up, and unmute yourself and go for it. Thanks, Diane. Oh, hold on.
Here we go.
There we go.
Okay, I'm Diane Foulds. I'm with Windsor's Energy Committee. We're a new group. We've only gotten started about a year ago. And we felt that we really needed to reach out to people. We hardly knew a lot of the folks and how they felt about climate change. So we got this idea from Alice Stewart, who was with Thetford's Energy Committee. And we thought it would be a way to get people thinking about it, maybe break some of the paralysis, the inactivity that we all seem to be so taken up with, because of the enormity of what we face. So this was one thing we thought if we put a few questions on a page, it would at least get people thinking about this. And it might even get our name out. So maybe we could even get some more members. The timing was very important. We had the primary coming up and town meeting day. And, elections is one of the times in a small town. Okay, Windsor's population is about 3,500. It's the time when people start streaming in from the outside and you get to see people and they've got a little time on their hands. Maybe they're filling out their ballots and they come out and they want to chat. So we put this survey together. Here it is. It's 2-page, as you can see, and there's a big spot on the bottom for comments.
And I've posted that online so everyone can download it if they want to see it later.
Okay, so some things worked and some things didn't. I'll go first through the things that did work. It hit a nerve. We were really blown away by the number of people who responded and who seemed eager to take this survey. We figured that probably most people in town were concerned about this and were going to say that they were interested in filling it out, but we didn't expect 2/3. And I mean 2/3 of the population, we're talking, well, not of the population, but of the people who were taking the survey, checked the box that said extremely concerned. They were extremely concerned about climate change, not just moderately concerned or maybe a little concerned. So 2 out of 3 people showed a real strong interest in this. And we felt that it really got people to focus because they went through 2 pages of detailed questions, really, of what they thought about things, in quite a bit of detail. One of the questions was what their top priority would be. If they were, on an energy committee, what 3 things did they feel were the most important things to work on right away? And we were surprised about that too, because we assumed people would be checking off the things they read about in the news most often, or maybe the most ambitious things like starting a solar farm for the whole town to benefit from. But instead, they chose some of the things we'd already been working on, like weatherizing homes and getting kids interested in recycling, things like that. One of the things that we felt most happy about that was a real plus was that a lot of people expressed their appreciation. They would, like fill in every box or put exclamations down, or even a few people wrote their thanks to us for even doing it. Among the things that didn't work so well and we would redo next time was a few people said that the survey was too long. Some people, because you had to flip it over and do the other side. Well, we forgot to say on the front page, continued. So a lot of people didn't even notice that there was a second side, and that was too bad. And also, although we had our name and email address on the bottom, we sort of were hoping that people would tear that off and take it home with them. They didn't. And we, okay, this is our first time, not too hard on ourselves, but we didn't put out flyers. We could have put down a sign up sheet or maybe even left a pile of cards, but we didn't think to do that. So we didn't really leave people a way to get in touch with us. Um, and the last thing I would point out, if we do this again, and I think we will, is that I think it really would have helped to have had one of us there at all times, handing these out, discussing it with them, just talking to people. Because, I was there for a short time, and it really made such a difference. People really did want to talk about this, and something about having people hand it to you, they were much more likely to sit down and work through it. So the upshot, well, our plan boomeranged in a way, because really we were hoping to make people think, well, we're really out to find what you feel, but our ulterior motive is to get you thinking more about this and reading about some of the easy things we could be doing, and therefore maybe you'll get more active. Well, instead of getting them to think more about it, they really got us thinking, because it changed our priorities. We realized we were jumping off into new things when we should have been spending more time on things like weatherization. It also made us wish we'd done it sooner. But most important, I think, it made us realize how strongly our town feels about climate change. And that boosts our morale. That gives us courage to go forward. And we know that we have their support. So, right now we're all facing coronavirus and we're all sitting at home. And I'm thinking there's probably a silver lining in that it's giving all of us a time to hit the pause button, to think about things, and to reflect a little bit on our own invincibility. We're discovering we aren't invincible. And if it's happening with these viruses, what's going to be coming down the pike with climate change and all of what it entails. So one thing, since we conducted this survey, a few people have been emailing in and saying, hey, I'd like to sign on to the compost project or other projects. So I think this augurs more participation. So I want to leave you with a final word, and that is November. We've got general elections coming up, and we've got 7 months to go before we get there. So boy, there's no better time to get a real turnout and to do it right, and to get a survey up and running, either something that you want to know from your town, or just something that you want to get people thinking about. Um, as Sarah mentioned, the survey that we drafted is up there. You're all welcome to use it. You can change it any way you want. You can use it verbatim if that would be helpful. Anything's fine. And she'll be posting my own email address. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer it. And right now, if any of you have any questions, I see a few of you do.
Awesome. There's actually just one question I'd love for you to answer briefly, and then we'll move on. David from Randolph wonders, the people who were coming and taking your survey are already voting. Do you think that that means they are somehow more motivated to action than some of your other townspeople might have been?
I asked that of our town manager. I looked at him and said, gee whiz, just a few of these people answered. And he said, yeah, but that amount is the same amount who answered the town survey, which he gives on an annual basis. And yes, these people, okay, they're hooked in, they're coming, but also he pointed out, these are the people who are going to be joining your energy committee, and they're going to be the people who are stepping up. So yes, we can keep trying to reach those others that are not so much involved, but to start off with, hey, there's nothing wrong with this.
Thank you. Thank you so much.